Normal sa isang project na magkaroon ng delay. That's why we're planning in the first place. There are two schedule compression techniques that you can use to help you get your project back on track. And yun yung pag-uusapan natin on this video. Una natin pag-uusapan is yung fast tracking. Ang fast tracking ay isang schedule compression technique kung saan pinag-overlap natin yung activities na normally magkasunod. This is done by changing the relationship between activities. Since binabago natin yung relationship, it may require additional resources and it can increase risk in workmanship. Gamitin natin itong schedule na to as example. Dito meron akong schedule and currently we are projecting na matatapos ito ng January 17, 2024. But the agreed completion is January 8, 2024. So obviously, delay tayo. Let's say the delay is caused by us, the contractor, and our only option is to catch up the project. To catch up the project, gagamit tayo ng fast tracking. So to do that, maghahanap tayo ng mga activities na nasa critical path because as we know, any adjustment sa critical path will adjust the whole schedule. Fortunately, yung software, ina-highlight nito yung mga critical activities. Ito yung mga activities on red bars. Among these critical activities, hahanap tayo ng pwedeng ipag-overlap. Para mas madali natin ito mahanap, i-filter natin yung mga critical activities. Dito sa taas, click natin itong filter. Then dito, check natin yung longest path. I choose the longest path because the longest path is always critical. Now, click OK. And ang ipapakita lang ng Primavera is yung mga activities na nasa longest path. Now that the activities were identified, hahanap tayo sa mga activities na to yung pwede natin pagsabayan. In this case, yung activity ng formworks para sa columns. Pwede ito magsimula nang hindi tinatapos yung 3-bar works ng column. So palitan natin yung relationship type between these activities. Make sure selected yung alinman sa mga activity na to. In this case, I'll select the formworks. Then dito sa baba, make sure na nasa relationship tab tayo. Since we're changing the relationship to its predecessor, dito tayo titingin sa predecessor. So makikita natin dito yung rebar works activity. Now, palitan natin yung relationship type from FS to SS. And siguro, mag-alat lang tayo ng 2 days for the log. The log represents the waiting time since kailangan natin matapos yung small portion ng rebar works activity bago tayo makapag-umpisa ng formworks. After nyan, let's run the schedule. Let's click F9 and select schedule. As you can see, after natin i-run, umuron yung ating completion. But that's not enough since ang inahabol natin is yung January 8 original completion. Let's fast track again another activity. Among these activities, itong dalawa pwede din natin fast track. So again, I'll select the latter activity and go to predecessor. From there, hanapin natin yung activity and palitan natin yung relationship from FS to SS. In this case, yung formworks kasi yun yung predecessor niya. So palitan natin yung relationship from FS to SS. Huwag ulit natin kalimutan yung lag. So let's use 1 day lag. Again, let's run the schedule. As you can see, umurong ulit yung ating completion. But if titignan natin yung finast track nating activity, naging out of sequence na ito. Since mauuna pa ito matapos kumpara sa predecessor niya na formworks. Nangyayari ito kapag yung activity has a shorter duration kumpara sa predecessor nito. Unlike sa example natin kanina, mas mahaba yung naging duration ng formworks kaysa dun sa predecessor niya which is the rebarworks. Kaya mas maganda gamitin yung SS relationship on that example. So para maiwasan to, instead na SS, ang dapat gamitin natin is FF or finish to finish relationship. Let's change the relationship from SS to FF and let's just retain the log. Now let's run the schedule and tignan natin yung mangyayari. As you can see, hindi na ito out of sequence. Now, check natin if na-hit na natin yung agreed completion. Let me just clear the filter. So, punta ulit ako sa filter and click ko yung all activities. As you can see, hindi pa natin na-hit yung January 8 completion. So, maghahanap pa tayo ng iba pang activities na pwede nating i-fast track. So, if again, i-filter ulit natin yung longest path. Then, hahanap ako dito ng mga activities na pwede nating ipagsabay. So, balikan natin yung forwards kanina. Since ang nilagay natin na is 2 days, baka pwedeng gawin na lang natin itong 1 day and see if ano mangyayari. Now, let's run the schedule. Yan. So, nabawasan tayo ng isa pang araw. So, meron pa tayo ditong ibang items na pwedeng pagsabayin. For example, itong concreting ng column, hindi ko na kailangang hintayin na matapos yung concreting. Ang kailangan ko lang is small portion ng concreting and pwede na ako mag-umpisa ng rebar. So, again, click natin tong rebar works. And dito sa predecessor, instead na FS, gawin natin ay SS. I-retain natin yung log na 1 day and let's run the schedule. So again, umurong ulit yung ating schedule and hanap pa tayo ng ibang items na pwede nating i-fast track. In this case, yung ating roof truss. No? Sa roof truss, hindi ko nahihintayin tapusin yung 3 araw na concreting. Kahit after ng 1 day, siguro, pwede na tayong makapag-umpisa ng roof truss. So click natin yung roof truss activity and then dito sa predecessor, instead na finish to start, palitan natin siya ng start to start. And then, maglagay lang tayo ng isang araw na lag as allowance kasi hintayin natin matapos yung concreting ng small portion. So, papalagay natin isang araw na lag and then let's run again the schedule. As you can see, 0 na yung mga total float natin. So, most probably, na-hit na natin yung completion. So, to make sure, filter ulit natin yung schedule and let's select all activities. As you can see, na-hit na natin yung January 8, 2024 na original completion. And na-compress na natin yung schedule by performing the fast tracking. So basically, ganun lang gawin yung pag-fast track ng schedule. Now, pag-usapan naman natin yung pangalawang technique, which is schedule crashing. Sa schedule crashing, instead na ipag-overlap yung 2 or more activities, pinapaikli natin yung duration ng isang activity by assigning additional resources to it. Para mas maintindihan natin yung concept ng schedule crashing, meron ako ditong table. Dito sa table na to, meron akong 5 activities and ito yung kanilang predecessor. Meron din akong normal duration and the crash duration. Pag sinabi natin crash duration, hanggang dyan lang natin kaya i-compress yung duration ng isang activity. Meron din ako ditong normal cost ng activity and yung cost per day naman if ika-crash natin yung specific activity. As mentioned earlier, we are assigning additional resources when we crash the activities. So itong column na to represents that cost. I also have here 600 per day overhead cost. So if we're going to make a bar chart of this schedule, ito yung magiging itsura nito. So initially, wala pa tayo na save na days. So 0 muna ilalagay ko dito sa day save. Now initially, 18 days yung ating project duration as seen on our bar chart. So 18 days ang ilagay natin dito. Sa crash cost, since wala pa naman tayong kina-crash na any activity, 0 muna yung ating crash cost. Ganon din sa saving. Since wala pa naman tayong ginagalaw sa schedule, wala pa tayong saving. So 0 muna. Then sa total activity cost, yan yung sum ng cost ng ating mga activities. So ang gagawin natin, equals sum, and then select natin ng mga activities na to. Now, sa total overhead cost, since meron tayong 600 per day na overhead cost and ang ating project duration is 18 days, so it is simply 600 times 18 days. So, meron tayong 10,800 na overhead cost. So, kung kukunin natin yung total cost niyan, that would be the activity cost plus the overhead. So, magto-total siya ng 18,900. Now, let's start crashing. Para maging effective yung schedule crashing, like yung ginawa natin sa fast tracking, dapat i-crash natin yung mga activities na nasa critical path. So, let me highlight first the critical path in our schedule. So, dito, yung ating activity A is critical. Critical din itong B. Dito, between C and D, ang critical is yung activity D. And of course, yung activity E. As you can see, ang critical path natin is activity A, B, D, and E. So, mamimili tayo among these activities kung ano yung pwede natin i-crash. Let's take a look on activity A. Meron itong duration na 2 days and yung crash duration nito is 2 days din. So, ibig sabihin nito, hindi na natin kaya i-crash yung activity A. So, let's cross out activity A sa ating bar chart. So, applyan ko lang siya ni strike through. Yan. Para ma-cross out yung activity A. Ngayon, yung mga activity na lang na pwede natin i-crash is activity B, C, D, and E. Pero nonsense na i-crash si activity C since wala naman siya sa critical path. So, ang i-crash na lang natin is yung activity B, D, and E. Among these activities, yung activity A yung pinakamurang i-crash since kailangan mo lang ng 500 to crash this activity. So, let's crash activity E. From 4 days duration, gawin natin siyang 3 days. Now, dahil ginawa natin tong 3 days, bawasan natin ang duration yung activity E. So, 3 days na lang siya and pumatak yung completion ng ating project sa day 17. So, dito sa day save, may na-save tayong isang araw. Then sa project duration, naging 17 days. Sa crash cost, since ang crinash natin is activity E, meron itong crash cost na 500. Sa savings naman, since nakatipid tayo ng isang araw, nakatipid tayo ng overhead cost na 600. So, lalagay natin dito, 600. Ngayon, for the total activity cost, yung cost natin kanina, plus yung nadagdag na cost due to crashing. So, plus 500. And then yung overhead cost naman, since may na-save tayo yung 600, babawasan natin yung cost natin kanina ng ating savings. So, if kukunin natin yung total ng project cost, naging 18,800 yung ating total project cost. So, nakasave pa tayo ng 100 at the same time, may na-save tayong isang araw sa ating project duration. Ngayon, dahil 3 days na yung activity A, hindi na natin ito makakrush on succeeding cycle because 3 days yung crush duration nito. So, i-cross out na rin natin yung activity E. Ang pwede na lang natin i-crush is activity B and activity D. Among these two, yung activity B, yung pinakamurang i-crush. So, i-crush natin yung activity B. From 5 days, gawin natin siyang 4 days. And if i-update natin yung ating bar chart, yan, magiging 4 days na lang yung ating activity B. And then, naging day 16 na yung completion ng ating project. So, dito again, sa cycle number 2, ang natipid natin ay isang araw. Then, ang project duration natin is 16. Ngayon, dahil ang crinash natin is activity B, mayroon itong crash cost na 600. So, lagyan natin dito 600. Now, of course, dahil isang araw ulit yung natipid natin, may natipid ulit tayong 600 na overhead cost. Kung kukunin natin yung activity cost, yan yung cost natin kanina, plus yung cost ng crashing ng activity B. Sa overhead, nakatipid tayo ng 600. So, kunin ulit natin yung cost natin kanina, minus the 600. And kung kukunin natin yung total cost ng ating project, hindi gumalaw yung cost nito since na-compensate lang ng savings natin yung crash cost. Okay, since yung activity B natin is na-hit niya ng crash duration na to, hindi na din natin to pwede i-crash. So, i-cross out na rin natin yung activity B. Ang pwede na lang natin i-crash is activity D. So, i-crash natin yung activity D. So, from 7 days, crash muna natin siya into 6 days. So, gagawin natin 6 days na lang yung duration niya. If 6 days na lang yung duration yan, iuurong natin ulit ito para mabawasan ng duration yung ating activity D. And kung mapapansin nyo, critical na rin si activity C. So, i-read na rin natin si activity C. Okay. So, no crinash natin si activity D, nakatipid tayo na isang araw. Okay. Then, yung completion natin, naging day 15. So, palitan natin ito ng 15. For the crash cost, ang crinash natin is si activity D. So, that's 700. And of course, isang araw ulit yung natipid natin. So, that's 600 overhead cost. Kunin natin yung total activity cost, yung activity cost natin kanina, plus yung crash cost ng activity D. Now, so for overhead naman, bawas natin yung savings natin sa overhead. And then, kunin natin yung total cost ng project. As you can see, bumalik lang yung cost natin dun sa initial cost ng project. But, na-compress na natin yung project ng 3 araw. Now, hindi ko i-cross yung activity D since pwede pa natin to i-crash on the next cycle. Now, since activity C is critical na din, pwede tayo pumili sa dalawa kung ano i-crash natin. Dahil si activity C and D ay parehas predecessor ng activity E, walang magiging sense if C or D lang yung i-compress natin. So, dapat i-compress natin parehas para umusod yung project duration. Kung i-compress natin parehas yan, Yung letter C from 6 days magiging 5 days. And then yung activity D magiging 5 days din. So i-move natin yan. Update natin yung bar chart. And then may natipid ulit tayo na isang araw. So lagay ko dito 1. And then yung duration natin is 14 days. So 14. For the crash cost, since dalawang activity yung crash natin, so that's 400 plus 700. So yan ay 1,100. Since isang araw lang naman yung na-save natin, so another 600 ulit yan na savings. So kunin natin yung activity cost, yung kaninang cost natin, plus 1,100. And then yung overhead cost natin, babawasan natin ng 600. So kunin ulit natin yung total cost. So that's a total of 19,400. So we're able to crush the project duration from 18 days to 14 days. And ito na yung magiging revised cost nito if ika-crush natin siya into 14 days. Now, since na-hit na ni Activity D, yung kanyang crush duration, so i-cross out na natin si Activity D. Ang pwede na lang natin i-crush is Activity C kasi take note na hanggang 4 days naman yung crush duration nito. So, pwede pa natin siya i-crush ng isa pang araw. But if ika-crush natin yung Activity C, alam naman natin na wala na mangyayari sa ating schedule since yung activity E natin depends both on C and D. Pero i-crush pa rin natin yung activity C and tingnan natin kung ano yung mangyayari. So in this case, palitan natin yung duration from 5 days to 4 days. Now, if papalitan natin yung duration, ito lang yung mababawasan sa atin. Ang susundan pa rin ng activity E is yung completion ng activity D. So dito sa ating table, ang days saved natin is 0. Yung project duration natin is 14 days pa rin. And nag-incur tayo ng 400 crash cost. Because kailangan natin ng 400 para i-crash yung activity C. Now, for the savings, wala tayong na-save na araw. So, that's 0. And then, for the total cost, that's 11,000 plus yung 400 na crash cost ng activity C. For the overhead cost, since wala naman tayong savings, so 8,400 pa rin yung ating overhead cost. Oops. And then for the total cost, kunin lang natin yung sum ng dalawa. And then magiging 19,800 yan. Yan basically yung concept kung paano i-crash yung ating schedule. Now, paano natin yan gagawin sa Primavera? To demonstrate, meron ako ditong sample schedule with the same activities nung example natin kanina. Since itong example natin is hindi resource loaded, we will adjust the duration directly. Before we perform schedule crashing, gagawa muna tayo ng user-defined fields. By the way, user-defined fields is the best way to add properties to activities. Like yung crash duration, sa Primavera, walang crash duration ng mga activities. We can add that property to the activities by creating user-defined fields. So, punta tayo sa Enterprise, then user-defined fields. Dito, gagawa tayo ng bagong user-defined field. So, we can start by creating crash duration. So, let's click add. And then, i-rename lang natin to into crash duration. For the data type, we have several options here. Pero yung most applicable dito is either number or integer. In this example, gagamitin ko is integer. After nyan, gagawa pa tayo ng isa pang user-defined field. So, again, let's click add. And then ito naman, papangalanan ko as mark for crashing. For the data type naman, ang isa-select ko is indicator. So malalaman natin mamaya kung bakit ito yung ginawa natin mga user-defined fields. But for now, let's close this window. After natin mag-create ng UDF, ipakita natin ito sa columns natin. Dito sa taas, click columns. Then dito, punta tayo sa user-defined. Select natin yung mga fields na ginawa natin kanina. Then, let's transfer sa kabila to show us columns on our table. Now, let's click OK. After nyan, makikita na natin dito sa schedule table yung dalawang user-defined fields na ginawa natin. Pwede na natin lagyan ng crash duration itong mga activities natin. So, let's use again the example earlier. Ito yung crash duration na sinet natin earlier dun sa ating Excel. So, let me just rearrange the table. After natin lagyan ng crash duration, we decide which activities to crash. Ang condition natin is dapat nasa longest path yung activity and at the same time, hindi pa nito nasasagad yung crash duration. We can use yung ginawa nating UDF kanina or user-defined fields na mark for crashing. Let's mark the activities na pwede natin i-crash. In this case, yung activity B, C, D, and E. Since hindi pa nila nasasagad yung kani-kanilang crash duration. So, let's mark these activities for crashing. Ito na lang yung gagamitin natin mark. After natin i-mark, we will use the global change to crash the activities. I'll explain later what is global change and bakit ito yung approach na gagawin natin. To use global change, let's go to Tools, then Global Change. Dito, gagawa tayo ng bago. So, let's click New. Let's rename this one as Crash Activities. As you can see, meron tayong tatlong sections dito. That's if, then, and else. Sa if, dito natin i-determine kung ano yung mga activities yung papalitan natin ng properties. We put conditions here to filter those activities. Sa then naman, ito yung series of action na ipaperform ng software if nasatisfy natin yung if condition. Sa else naman, dito ilalagay yung mga actions na ipaperform ng software if the condition is not met. Remember kanina na ika-crash lang natin is yung mga activities na nasa longest path and yung mga activities na hindi pa sagad yung crash duration, which are the activities na nilagyan natin ng mark kanina. We can use those parameter as our condition. So, let's go dito sa if. Then, let's click add. For the parameter, select natin yung longest path. Then, dito, retain natin yung equals. Next, dito naman sa value, select natin is yes. Ibig sabihin yan, pinifilter natin yung activities na nasa longest path. Now, let's add another one. So, gamitin na lang natin itong nandito sa baba. So, this time, sa parameter, let's look for mark for crashing. Ito yung ginawa nating user-defined fields kanina. Select that, then again, let's retain the equals. For the value, let's choose the green check mark. Ang gagawin naman ito is i-filter niya yung mga activities na may green check mark. Both of this condition must be satisfied. So, dito sa taas, i-retain natin tong all of the following. Now, sa then naman tayo. Punta tayo sa then. Dito natin ilalagay yung mga actions kapag nasatisfy natin yung if conditions. So, let's click add. Then, let's select remaining duration for the parameter. Let's equate this to remaining duration minus 1. Ang ginagawa nito is yung remaining duration, babawasan natin ng 1 day. Ma-apply lang itong action na to sa mga activities na nasatisfy yung condition natin dito sa if. Sa else naman, hindi ko lalagyan ng actions, which means that if the condition is not met, walang gagawing action sa Primavera. Let's now click OK. And lalabas na yung action na yon dito sa ating list. If magka-crash tayo, we just need to select that action. Then dito sa kanan, click natin yung apply change. Ipi-preview nito yung mga magiging result. Let's click commit changes, but we don't need to log the file. So let's click no. After nyan, let's go back to our schedule. Let me just close this. And as you can see, nabawasan yung duration ng mga activity na minark natin. Notice na hindi nabawasan yung duration ng activity C. Although naka-mark ito for crashing, wala naman ito sa longest path. So yung activity B, D, and E lang yung binawasan ng 1 day duration. Now, bakit pa natin kailangan gawin yung global change kung pwede naman natin gawin isa-isa yung pag-crash? If we have this number of activities, walang problema. Mas madaling isa-isahin na lang yung pag-crash. But in most cases, yung activities ng project umaabot ng hundreds, if not thousands. And very tedious if iisa-isahin natin ito. We use global change to change one or more properties of an activity with a click of a button. In fact, pwede ka gumamit ng global change to assign crash duration and to mark the activities for crashing. With the right conditions and set of actions, possible ito magawa through global change. But that's a topic for another video. So, ituloy natin yung pag-crash ng ating activities. So, titignan natin yung ating schedule na hit na ng activity B yung crash duration ito. So, tatanggalin ko na yung mark nito for crashing. Yung activity C, hindi pa niya na-hit yung crash duration, so okay pa tayo dito. Yung activity D, hindi pa rin niya na-hit. But yung activity letter E, na-hit niya na. So, tatanggalin ko na rin yung mark dito. After natin magawa yan, let's run the schedule. And as you can see, umurong yung ating completion. Again, pwede pa tayong mag-crash. So, punta ulit tayo dun sa tools, then global change. Hindi na tayo gagawa ng global change. Ang gagawin na lang natin is click natin yung ginawa natin kanina, and then apply change. So, let's commit changes and do not log the file. Let's close. And as you can see, binawasan nito yung activity letter C and letter D. From 6, naging 5 na lang. So, ganun lang yung process. After natin ma-crash, check ulit natin if pwede pa natin i-crash yung activity na yun. So, check natin yung activity D and mapapansin mo na hit niya na yung ating crash duration. So, tatanggalin ko na yung mark niyan para next time na magra-run tayo ng crash schedule, ang ika-crash na lang niya is activity C. But nakita niyo naman sa example natin kanina sa Excel, wala nang sense i-crash yung activity C because ang mag-govern pa rin is activity D. That means, hanggang dito na yung pag-crash ng ating schedule. I-run na lang natin ulit yung schedule natin. And then as you can see, day 14 din yung magiging kakalabasan ng compressed duration. That's it. That's the two schedule compression technique you can use to catch up and compress the schedule. Between these two, ano yung tingin yung practical gamitin sa project nyo? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel. And check out my other videos in project planning, Excel tutorial, and Primavera Physics tutorial. If nagtatanong ka kung paano mag-update ng schedule sa Primavera, you can watch this video.